Thank you again for joining us. Okay, today's topic is there a gender preference in child custody matters? An important topic, a topic that determines whether or not someone would pursue their case till the end or pursue it till a certain point or not bother pursuing it at all. An example of my last comment, not bother pursuing it at all. If you are the father of the child, you cared for the child most of the child's life. However, the mother and you are now having issues, having problems. Although it will be best for the child to be with you, you have the perception that the law favors the mother and you do not pursue obtaining primary care or custody over the minor child because of the stereotype. There's a presumption in your mind that the law favors a certain gender. And then we go further. A mother, for example, she may have primary care, she always looked after the child and so on. The father was never involved in the child's life. Now the father says, I am wealthier, I have much more money, I have not been involved in the minor child's life for a long time. However, I'm the father and I will take the child away from you, and the courts will see that in my favor because I'm the dad and the child is a boy. In that specific regard, the mother will most probably give in to the father despite it not being in the minor child's best interest. I will answer the question quickly and then I'll unpack it a bit further for those of you who would like to follow my logic and where I'm going with this. Firstly, there is no preference for one gender above another. The law doesn't say, nowhere in the law does it say that a mother is a better primary caregiver or a better caregiver over a minor child, or a father is a better caregiver, and so on. What the law does say, the law says expressly that when dealing with any matter regarding a minor child, we have to apply what's the child's best interest principle, in the sense of we need to focus what is best for the child under the circumstances. Is it better for the child to be with a mother, or is it better for the child to be with a father? And that's how the court looks at it. I will not be naive and silly and say, for example, a child that's has been born a few days ago, and argue that the father is in just a good position to care for the minor child as a mother. Obviously not. I mean, there is a scenario I can create to make it seem that the father would be a better primary caregiver. Let's say the mother's ill, terminally ill, she just gave birth. Of course, under those circumstances, the father can look after the minor child, or the mother is on drugs and she is totally out of it. She cannot care for the child. But obviously, when a child is born, the best person to care for a minor child would be a mother. And that might change a few months later once the child is stable and various factors can come to play. For argument's sake, the mother goes back to work 2 months after birth, or a few months later once her paternity leave came to an end. Then the father looked after the minor child for a few months, maybe for a year. The argument can no longer be made that because a child is 6 months old or 8 months old, that automatically the mother would be in a better position to care for the minor child based upon her gender. We look at what is best for the minor child holistically, we look at the facts objectively, and based upon that we determine what is best for the minor child. And one factor that plays a role, could possibly play a role, depending upon the age of the child, would be gender. For example, if a child is maybe a boy of 15 years old and he has a preference to be with his father, and if you look at the mother situation and the father situation, there's nothing to suggest that the minor child will not properly be cared for by the father. And the child wants to be with the father lives closer to the child's school, closer to the child's friends, extramural activities, rugby, soccer, etc. Under those circumstances, you can argue that there could be a preference in letting the minor child reside with the father because there's a bond and a connection with that is concerned. But the long story short, the bottom line is we need to look at what's best for the minor child. So let us deal with some scenarios and some issues that come to my desk on a regular basis. Many parents have this problem. Once they've separated, and I'm speaking about married couples, people that are married in terms of religious law, Hindu, Muslim, and so on, civil marriages, Christian couples, and so on. When they separate, there seems to be a idea or a view that automatically, by default, the mother has the say as to what should happen with regard to the minor children, despite the parties both jointly caring for the minor child during the relationship. For argument's sake, let us say the child is 3 years old, it's lockdown. For the last year, the couple was caring for the minor kids. The father worked from home, the mother worked from home, the mother sometimes went to the office, the father sometimes went to the office. They both cared for the minor child. Now they've separated. Lockdown could have caused that. They've separated, and now they must decide who has the child. Automatically, I do not know if it's a maternal instinct. The mother automatically believes, I decide what should happen to the kids, who they can stay with. More than likely, the mother might say they should reside with me. If that is best for the minor child, then that should happen. But where I'm going to with this is, there isn't an automatic preference for one parent over the other. There is not an automatic preference. If the father feels that the minor children would be better cared for by him, he should pursue that argument. He should not give in to it, because at the end of the day, the minor child would be prejudiced. Then he goes further, and these are the challenges which I see a lot. The mother might say that the father should have supervised contact, and that might not make logical sense under the circumstances. And the scenario gets applied differently as well. The father might argue, no, I am the breadwinner in this house, I earn much more than you, I pay for the school fees, etc., therefore the kid should remain with me. And the mother might believe that is the case. I'm not for 1 second putting down mothers or fathers. I'm trying to give an example and for you to understand the issues that come to my table on a regular basis and how we need to unpack and deal with that. How do we unpack and deal with these type of issues? One way would be to go for mediation, speak to a professional person, a psychologist, a counselor, someone that deals with these type of matters on a regular basis. He or she can listen to the father. See why does he want to have care over the minor children? The challenge many couples have is that once they start arguing and fighting, all that they want to do is say, they want to make a noise, they want to speak, and they presume, and I do not know how that works, but they presume the other party is listening to them, comprehending what they are saying, and absorbing what they are saying. And that doesn't happen. What usually happens is one party would speak, argue with the other side, do not allow the other party to say anything, and the other party, what he or she is doing is preparing the counter argument, but not listening to what the person who spoke earlier on said. And that is counterproductive. It takes us nowhere. Therefore, I suggest the parties at the outset of the separation immediately speak to a professional person, a mediator. Try to resolve this matter, because if they say I mediate a matter, I will say, Father, you got 15 minutes. Speak as much as you want to. Mother, please do not say anything. You can take notes. You're welcome to do that. But you're not allowed to say anything. And let that father speak. And it's funny because after 5 minutes of the father speaking, that was the first time the mother ever listened to the father, what he's saying. And he explains his situation. Why does he want to have primary care? And she's forced to listen. She's not allowed to speak. Because in the past, whenever he spoke, she would have interrupted. And vice versa as well. Whenever the mother speaks, the father interrupts. Father is done speaking. He said his thing. He had his 15 minutes. I gave him full 15 minutes. Now the mother gets a chance to respond. Then the father is now forced to listen to what she has to say. And he is not allowed to say anything in that 15 minutes. I'm not allowed to say anything. I can just keep quiet and ask the other party to keep quiet. Once they've spoken for that half an hour, 15 minutes, the amount of progress that has been made in that 30 minutes by allowing both parties to speak uninterruptedly and forcing the other party to listen is great. It's amazing. It's a lot. And what sometimes happens is when you have a second session with a specific couple, they go home. They think about it. They might not agree at this first session. I don't expect them to. But they go home and they start pondering upon what the other party said. Because in the previous arguments, in the previous discussions over the last month or so, they never once pondered what the other party is saying, because they never heard what the other party is saying. All that they heard from the other party was noise. I want, I want, I want. But they do not know why he or she wants whatever he or she wants. Therefore, it's important that the parties try to resolve this matter out of court. Speak to a professional, speak to somebody, and that specific person would hopefully be able to assist you in trying to resolve the matter. And I'm saying this because if there was a preference for a mom or a dad, this conversation would not have taken place online here. I would have said, the default position is kids go to the dad, boys go to the dad, or girls go to the mom, or all the kids go to the mom. Or I have a template, or I have a schedule stipulating kids of 1 year old or born until 5 years old goes to the mom, but a girl at the age of 7 years old goes to the dad. There is no such document. There's no periodic table to work out. I'm using an example here to work out what should happen regarding any family scenario. Each family is different. We accept that. Kids' ages are different. Parents' ages are different. Their work situations are different. Their addresses are different in relation to the school, in relation to the other parent. The dynamics are different. So how is it possible for me as a professional, knowing all these things, to apply a templated scenario to your case or to a different person's case, or use your example on a different client? I cannot do that. And how can I, and if I do that, how can I be of any value to you? Because each case is different. And therefore, when it comes to child custody matters, the parties that are best equipped, and listen to me now, the parties who are best equipped to determine what is best for your child is not me. With all my years of experience, it's not me. It's not the judge. With respect, it's not the judge. It's not the family advocate's office. It's not the social worker. It's not your lawyer. Who is it? It's you. You and your spouse or your ex-partner or your ex-friend, whatever the circumstances are best equipped to decide what is best for you and the minor child, and at the same time, what is required for you both to be the best co-parents. You see, this is how these matters turn out. You go to a lawyer, you go to an attorney, they do their job, they must do their job, they are asked to do this and they need to do what they can. And the matter goes to court. The court matter can take many months to finalize, sometimes years to finalize. And if it has to be done, it has to be done. There are many cases where going to court is warranted. I accept that. But the question is, why should you watching this video today be part of that statistic? Why can you not resolve it on your own? At some point, you and other spouse, you were lovers, you were friends, you were, spouses. Why does that have to come to an end? And why can't you still be amicable regarding your kids? Therefore, I got a few questions or a few comments online. My question I always ask you, yes, and I'll be blunt over here. You guys were most probably very bad partners, spouses, lovers, and friends towards the latter part of your relationship. Bad. 30% out of 100. However, why can you not be the best possible co-parents for your minor kids? That's important because you have the power where that is concerned. Your kids will not go away. The other parent will always be there. Why cannot work towards that? If I'm a lawyer, I want to present nice documentation. I would like to present good documentation so I can be well versed in my matter and I can present my case very well in court. I take pride in my case. Why can you as a parent not take pride in your specific manner of co-parenting with the other party? That's very important. I have a question or a comment. Let me get to that quickly. Okay, it might not be dealing with this topic, but let's deal with that. I wanted to ask, if the father does not work but gets maintained by his mother and girlfriend, is there a possibility that taking him to the maintenance court, I presume, and his girlfriend is involving her in our business? Okay, so that's a child maintenance comment. Let me deal with that quickly. If the father doesn't work, I would still advise you to take him to the maintenance court, because what is his reason for not working? Why does he not want to support? And if his parents are supporting him, he must say that. And then the inquiry can be directed towards his parents. So there's no obligation upon his girlfriend to maintain your kids, but I would advise you still go to the maintenance court. They can unpack it for you and they would be able to assist you. I do not ever, a client can come to my office today and tell me, advocate, the other party is not working. That doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't even feature in my, alerts. Okay, he sees it's not working, that's fine. Let's still go to the maintenance court. Let's still take him to court. Let's see what the court has to say. Because then we can unpack it all. If everyone said I'm not working, it means kids would be detrimentally affected thereby. I do not want that. If you say you're not working and you truly aren't working and you're trying very hard to find a job, and every avenue you come to you cannot find a job and you can't maintain your minor child, I'll respect that. Then we have to deal with the second part of the inquiry, maybe going into parents, and come back to you a few months later. But I cannot accept it if someone says you're not working. If you have a cell phone, sell your cell phone. If you have a nice jeans, sell it for 50 Rand, 100 Rand. That's food for the child for the next few days. I do not believe anybody is unable to pay child support. If you had lunch today, you better make sure that you eat half that lunch. Sorry, next time you're having lunch the next day, you should eat half the lunch so that your child will have more money. So if you buy the streetwise too, I don't know how much streetwise too costs nowadays at KFC. If it costs 20 Rand, I might be wrong. You do not buy that. Buy a meal of 10 Rand and give the other 10 Rand to your child. Make a plan. If you're living today, it means that you have survived, and it costs you money to survive, to be alive today. Why must the mother of the child, or even the other child, the party of the other party is, could be the father as well, but why should the caregiver of the child suffer or be unduly prejudiced because you do not want to get a job, but you are at the same time you are earning an income? Totally not earning income, you are surviving. You have food to eat, you have clothes to wear, you have a cell phone. Sell all those things and pay child maintenance. That's what you should do. Okay, I got another comment. What happens if the court grants primary care to the father, but the mother keeps running away with the child every time? No, that's a serious thing. If the court grants primary care to the father, the mother cannot do that. She's committing a criminal offense. I would advise you to go to the police and lay a criminal charge against her. It's a crime. She's not allowed to do that. I do not know how to take it further. If I have a car and somebody is taking my car without my permission, I'll go to the police. They will do their thing and they will charge the person. The same way here. If you have primary care and the mother is allowed to have contact maybe every second week, but she must return the child on the Monday.